The injury report on Mitchell Robinson keeps getting longer, and the noise around Tyler Kolek keeps getting louder and louder. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest. Let's get right into today's video. So last week, Shams joined First Take, and he gave Stephen A. Smith the news that Mitchell Robinson is going to be missing the rest of the calendar year. So that means he's going to be missing the month of October, November, and December, with a returned date to be around January or probably February. Now, first and foremost, is that surprising news? Not really, because what I've been saying for the longest, I'm pretty sure Chris has mentioned it in his videos as well, is that Mitchell Robinson is an injury-prone player. Last season, he had 2 ankle surgeries. I mean, one of them really wasn't his fault. Neither of them were his fault. But when he returned in the playoff series against the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid had one of the most dirtiest plays I've ever seen, where he was on the floor, Mitchell Robinson went up in the air, and Embiid literally bear hugged his legs and dragged him down. I still to this day don't know why the refs didn't kick him out, but that's neither here nor there. We got the W and we moved on, so whatever. I mean, I'm looking at it in one of two ways. On one side, I'm okay with it because by acquiring Mikal Bridges, by re-signing OG Anunoby, by acquiring Karl Anthony Towns, it's pretty obvious that this Knicks front office is putting all of their chips in. And as a Knicks fan, I'm definitely happy about that. And as part of the Knicks fan base, like, we want to see our organization put all their chips in. We want to see our organization really try and go for that championship that we've been missing and hasn't been with the New York Knicks since the 70s, which is a little bit of an embarrassment. Maybe not a little bit, maybe a lot of it. When you talk about markets in the NBA, you're talking about New York, you're talking about LA, you're talking about Miami, Chicago, the bigger city markets, and New York hasn't had a championship since the 70s. So that's that. And letting Mitchell Robinson rest and recuperate as much as he can, I'm going to look at it from the positive side. Like, if Mitchell Robinson comes back in January, February, and hopefully doesn't have any more injury hiccups, let's say he's able to play the rest of the season and have an entire healthy playoff season as well. Then we're going to have a healthy Mitchell Robinson grabbing rebounds, cleaning the glass up, altering shots, blocking shots, finishing alley-oop plays. And then we have Karl Anthony Towns playing his natural position, the 4. Karl Anthony Towns is like Anthony Davis. He wants to play the 4. But for most of his career, he's been the big man on his team. The last couple seasons, I believe, is 2 seasons that Rudy Gobert has been with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns was able to slide over to the 4, his more natural spot, the position that he likes to play more, and he has a little bit more of an advantage. So if we get a healthy Mitchell Robinson for the rest of the regular season, when he comes back in January or February, Cat is I just feel like Cat at the 4, I'd be a lot more optimistic than him playing the 5. And then we also got to take a look at the rest of the starting 5. If Mitchell Robinson is able to have a healthy playoff run, Mitchell Robinson at the 5, Cat at the 4, OG at the 3, Mikal Bridges at the 2. But those 2 players, Mikal and OG, they're going to be able to switch. So it could be Mikal at the 2 or OG at the 2. It could be OG at the 3 or Mikal at the 3. And then Jalen Robinson at the 1. That is a very well-balanced offensive and defensive diet, because you got Mikal and OG in the perimeter, then you got Mitchell Robinson down in the block defending the big man, and then you got Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson being your 2 primary offensive weapons. So you got the answers defensively on the perimeter and also on the block with Mitchell Robinson. On the perimeter, you got Mikal and OG, obviously, 2 of the top 5 perimeter defenders in the league. And then Jalen and Karl Anthony Towns, they're going to be free and able to do whatever they want. I mean, Jalen Brunson obviously is going to be, the defensive schemes being drawn up against him in the playoffs is going to be, they're really going to try and take him out of this game, which is where Karl Anthony Towns comes into play. This is why we made the move for Cat. We're going to want somebody to take over that offensive responsibility when Jalen Brunson is being double-teamed, when he's being blitzed. Any defensive scheme you can think of, you better believe that they're going to have it drawn up in the playoffs. And this is my hesitation with Cat. I'm just not sure that he's the player that we need to back up Jalen Brunson, especially when the lights are on the brightest, i.e. the playoffs, or however far they go into the playoffs. But going back to the whole Mitchell Robinson injury report, I wanted to bring up the games he's played since his rookie season. So starting all the way back in 2018, 2019, 66 games, very nice. Sophomore year, 61. And then in the 2020, 2021 season, he played 31 games. Okay, so far out of 3 seasons, he's only had 1 season where he didn't play the amount of games that we would have liked him to play. His 4th season, he played 72, great number. 5th season, 59 games, so a little bit on the downside, not that much, but then we go into last season, he played 31 games. So far, he's had 6 NBA seasons, going into his 7th, and in 2 of those seasons, he's played 31 games or less. So that ratio isn't bad, but it just seems like the injuries are really starting to pile up with Mitchell Robinson. And right after his 3rd season, where he played 31 games, he played what? He played 72 games and then 59 games. So going into this season, Mitchell Robinson, he could be coming back and have a fully healthy regular season and also a playoff run as well. It's just Mitchell Robinson, you just never really know with him. And this is the growing frustration that the Knicks fans have with him. So hopefully Mitchell Robinson is able to come back in January or February and it's going to be smooth sailing from here on out. Only time will tell. But what I want to talk about now is I want to talk about Tyler Kolek, and I want to talk about the noise around him that it seems like it's growing. So I was obviously on all the Knicks Twitter pages, and one of the pages that I follow, got a shout out, Let's Talk Knicks, they posed the question, does Tyler Kolek deserve a rotational spot right now? And the point guards that we have, we got Brunson, of course, we got Deuce, we got Campaign, and then we got Tyler Kolek, who we drafted. So I kind of just wanted to give my 2 cents about this topic because when I saw that, I don't know, man. Knicks fans, I feel like we have a reputation. I mean, it might not even be I feel like. It might be just facts. The reputation that we have is when we get one good thing, we just abuse it and we just overhype it as much as possible. And Tyler Kolek, I think this is a really good draft pick. We got, in my opinion, we have 3 point guards ahead of him. Tyler Kolek is a rookie. He's going to be entering his first NBA season, and with every rookie, there is a learning curve. There's a learning curve to the physicality of the NBA. There's a learning curve to the speed of the NBA, and just in general, just the basketball IQ. Now, Chris and I, we actually did a post-game show on the first preseason game against the Charlotte Hornets, and what I said was I like what I saw from Tyler Kolek. I like that it seems like he knows how to play the game. It looks like he has a good foundation to his game. He knows when to make the right pass. He knows when to attack. He knows when to set up his teammates. He reminds me a little bit of a like old traditional point guard. I'm not saying he's John Stockton, not at all. I'm just saying that John Stockton for the longest was looked at as the floor general, which then I feel like Chris Paul was the next iteration of that. But Chris Paul, like, you never looked at him as one of the best offensive players in the league, offensive scorers or anything. Chris Paul was just, and maybe still is, the best leader in the NBA. That Charles Barkley always says that whenever he talks about Chris Paul. But I feel like Tyler Kolek, when he gets more seasons, when he gets more reps, I feel like that could be what he's known for. He could be someone that's known for just being a real dependable point guard. If it's going to be starting or a backup point guard, somebody that you can depend on to come into the game, run the plays, put everybody in the right position. And that is sort of what I feel is Tyler Kolek's ceiling. Now, the more and more I watch Tyler Kolek, my opinion might change. We never know. I just feel like we need to definitely hit the brakes on Tyler Kolek. He's played, 2 preseason games? He's had that summer league in Las Vegas, obviously. But he's had 2 preseason games, and the 2 games were against Charlotte Hornets, which is basketball purgatory, and the Washington Wizards, which is basically no man's land. So let's wait, as a Knicks fan base, let's wait and see what Tyler Kolek does for the first 2 months of the season, where he has to travel night in, night out. He has to see different types of point guards, athletic point guards that are more like him, where they like to set up their own teammates. There's just a lot that Tyler Kolek is going to have to go through. There's going to be a huge learning curve. And I really want to see what it looks like in January and February, where he's had enough reps where we get a good sample size to see where he lands within his own rookie class, but where he lands within the point guard position in the league as a whole. But going back to the question, does Tyler Kolek deserve a rotational spot right now? My answer is no, especially with Brunson, McBride, and Campaign ahead of him. I'm not a big fan of Campaign, but the one thing that he has over Tyler Kolek that is a fact that cannot be argued is experience. And I feel like experience is the best teacher, but Tyler Kolek deserving of a starting rotational spot? Absolutely not. Brunson is going to start. Campaign and Deuce are probably going to share the responsibility of the backup point guard for Jalen Brunson. And then Tyler Kolek is just what it is right now. In my opinion, he should be last on the point guard rotations. Just be on the bench, watch as much as you can, absorb as much information as you can. Whenever your number is called, then you go into the game and you try and make an impact. I know it's really cliche, I know it's corny to say, but every player, whenever they give an interview about injuries, they say next man up mentality. So I get that, but it's really true. Like, Tyler Kolek just has to be ready for his opportunity whenever it comes knocking. Maybe there will be an injury here or there to Deuce, to Campaign. Hopefully not to Jalen Brunson. Hopefully not to any of these players, because nobody, especially as an ex-hooper, nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. But with the NBA season, we know how long it is. We know that anything can happen at any time. And we've seen, as fans, we've seen crazier things happen. So Tyler Kolek, we just want you to be ready for the opportunity whenever it happens. And if you do get the opportunity, from what I've seen so far, I think he'll make the most of it. But we also got to chill. We got to lower our expectations a little bit. So let's just see what Tyler Kolek is able to come up with after the first couple months of the season. But guys, that's it for today's video. I want to say thank you so much for checking it out. Make sure to leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about this whole Mitchell Robinson injury stuff. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Tyler Kolek hype around his name. But until next time, you guys know the drill. You know the vibes. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. The deuce is loose for co-MVP. Taj Gibson, even though you're on the Charlotte Hornets, it's always Taj Gibson for president. And Mikal Bridges for defensive player of the year. And I'm out. Until next video, I'll check you guys out later.